before you guys go start working on this, just want to show you what the finished product looks like and then show you a couple of tricks to accomplish this task. So, is it working? Am I sharing my screen okay? All right. Still hearing an echo. That's all right. So when I play mine, here's the difference is, let's go down here. So watch when I shoot, listen to the sound. I'll turn up my speakers. When I throw the food here. Oops, come on now. There it goes. So every time I throw food, you hear that little popping sound. And when I stop throwing the food, you can hear like an oboe and a tuba in the background. So I made like a little background music that just plays. So what you're going to be doing is you guys are going to be adding 2 sounds to your prototype 2. The first one is going to be, let me go back to my Schoology page here. The first one will be right here, these steps, add background music. And you follow these steps and it's pretty straightforward. And I'll go through it here in just a minute, and then you're going to add sound to when the player hits the space bar to shoot or for the farmer to be throwing food. So it makes noise whenever the farmer throws food. Now, do you guys remember a while back I had you guys go to Soundation? It was like a 1-day assignment, or maybe it was 2 days. I had you guys go in there and play around with Soundation just to learn the user interface a little bit. We didn't have that much time though to play around with it. Well, now that we're adding sound, I want you guys to have some free time to get to play around with it. So this add sound to prototype 2, I'm not going to add a new assignment. I should have put April 29. So next week we'll have Monday to play around with it. We'll see. I'm thinking, but anyway, we'll today and Monday. Because I want to give you guys at least half the period today to play around in Soundation if you want to make your own. So you heard I used an oboe and I used a tuba in the background. I don't know how well you guys could hear that or not. When I hit play, it's just some sound in the background. And I want you guys to be able to make your own sounds. But I also gave a link here that says shared sound effects for Mr. Grabowski's OneDrive. So when you click on this, you don't have to download the entire folder because this is pretty big. There's a lot of different sounds. For example, I'll just open up the first one. I'll open it. You should be able to just click on it, and it opens up a sound player on your computer where you can just play it, test it. And if I close it, then it brings me back to that page. And if I need to go back a page, I can just hit back arrow. Or I can just do this. Go back to sound effects, click on this folder. So there's different sounds here that you guys are free to use as well. But I wanted to make those available because maybe some of you want to put that in other games or in the future, or maybe you want to go back and add some sounds to something else. Let's see here. Let's go back. All right, Soundation. I just want to run through really quickly. How did I make that background sound in Soundation? I think I have Soundation open. Here we go. So when you're logged into Soundation, you click on the studio to get in. Now I want to go through the steps of how I saved the file so that I could bring it into my project. So if I'm just going to start a blank project, now let's say this was closed. Let's say I was working on something. How do you start a blank project if you're in here working? You just go up here to the folder right up here. And if you click on the folder in the upper right corner, then it shows you the ones that you've saved in the past right over here. So maybe some of you have some saved from that day that we were playing around with it. Or right here, new solo project, new collaboration. That means 2 people could be working together. Anyway, if I click on new solo project, it does the same thing. It opens up this screen. And then I have to add a channel. And the instrument channel is where I went in order to create a customized, using the keyboard, customized background sound. So what I did was I went to Simple Synth, pulled down this menu, and I chose GM2. And then I double-clicked right up here to get the keyboard on the screen, and it gives me a record session. Now, if I want to expand it, I can grab it, expand it, make it longer, and I can always make that longer after I start recording. But here's the piano. It's not turned on because I haven't selected one yet. I got to select an instrument over here in the GM2. So if I just pick any electronic piano, okay, so that's the piano. I can pick any other instrument like bass. I went to bass here, and I think, actually I went to brass. That's where I got the ones that I did for my background. I had tuba. And I double clicked out here, or just clicked. And then I dragged it a little bit longer so that it was playing that tune. Then I wanted to go down here. If I don't like it, I click and drag. And I decide, okay, I want this. So if I click on, okay, so let's say I want those two tunes in this one. And let's say I want them to repeat back and forth before I add another one. I just go up here, I shrink this back down, go to the repeat up in the upper right corner. There's like a little repeat, and it just copies it over and over and over. And then I can go start a new channel to get another instrument to play along with it at the same time. So I can go to the GM2, and this time maybe I want to use a drum or something. Well, let's see here. Say it's an organ, a church organ. So I double click, here's the piano. So if I double click, then I could just start making the melody however I want, and I can move these around. I can grab it, I can stretch it. And if I wanted to repeat that over and over, there's my background sound. Ready? Not the best background, but anyway, you guys get the point. You're going to be using the keyboard, so you can make yourself a little background. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be too long because it'll just repeat when you put it in the game. But now let's say I'm ready to export this so that I can use it in my game. Okay, I go over here. First of all, up here it says save. This is where you save it to your portfolio in Soundation. And I just give it a name. I'll say example. I hit save. And now I go over here to this little arrow that's like the export arrow. It says like sending it somewhere. So it's the export arrow. And then I can pick low resolution MP3, and it tells me how many kilobytes it is. Like right now, it's 192 kilobytes. It's too small. You guys can't see that. But this one says high res, 320 kilobytes. So that's not too big. I can just take the high res one. And now notice when I click it, it just downloaded in my download MP3, which is really nice. Now you could export it as a WAV also, but then it's a little bit a larger file. But for right now, we're just going to do MP3s for today. Now that it's in my download folder, I go back over here. Oops. Let's see here. I'm going to open up my project, and I created a folder named Sound in my Assets folder. I just right mouse click on Asset, create new folder. And so I have my Sound folder right here. And all I want to do is open up my browsing folder and shrink it down so that I can see my folder behind it. And I'm just going to go to Downloads and grab that example file, drag it on top of the Sound folder, and let go. For some reason, if you do copy paste, if I went like this, right mouse click, copy, and then I try to paste it over here, it doesn't seem to work very well with Unity. I don't know why. For some reason, the drag and drop works better. Sometimes I've seen it work, and most of the time it doesn't. So anyway, now if I open up my Sound folder, there it is, example. And now I can follow the steps I'm going to go back here and show you the steps. Now I could follow these steps and make that my background music. So camera, add component, audio source. Okay, I'll do that first. I click up here on the main camera, then I do a right mouse click on it, and I choose audio source. And it puts an audio source in here. If I open that up, it says audio clip none right here. So I just drag this example file up here to none. And now it's got my example file. And now when I play it, there's the church organ here. And that was the clip that I just made. So it's actually very easy to just get a background sound. The other one is a little bit harder because it's based on a certain event happening. Background sound. Now, and take a look over here for the background sound. If I don't hit loop right here, it's not going to keep going. It'll only play it once. So if you want it to loop, you've got to click this little loop button, and then it'll keep going over and over. But now the next step is a little bit harder, and I'm just going to point it out, but I'm not going to actually walk you guys through it. And that's this one. To add shooting sound when the farmer throws the food. So in this one, I spelled it out pretty well with the words here. You know, in player controller script file, so you open up the player controller script file, add a public audio clip, shoot sound, a new one. So what did I do there? I'm just going to show you that at the beginning here. So I opened up my scripts, my player controller script. And if you scroll to the top, you'll see, here's my new audio source. It's right here. There's actually two of them. Here's the one that I just told you in the instructions to create. Public audio clip shoot sound. So this is just declaring a new variable called shoot sound. And then if I click on this, notice how it highlights my code where else it's used. Player audio, player one shot, and then grab the shoot sound clip variable and start it playing at the beginning. One means start at the very beginning. If you said two, then it starts at, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. That's how many times it plays, because this is different. This is the play one shot. So it plays it once, but anytime you change this number, you can make it play it 3 times or 4 times or 5, whatever you want. But in this case, we only want it to play once because every time you hit the space bar, notice right up here, it says if input key is down, space bar, that's to throw the food. So it's going to play within this if function. This is calling it to play. And that is listed right here. Down here for number 4. Under the if space is down function, put in this code. Okay, so that then this sorry, so I'm jumping around on this, but it's all here. So in number 2, it says player controller script file, declare private audio source. That's the other one that I have. Oops. It's the other variable up here, this one. So you're putting those 2 variables in. And then it says in the start method, that's number 3. In the start method, initialize. Then you're going to type in all of this bolded code. And that's right here, in the start method. And then there's one more thing to do. Let's see here. Shoot. Oh, and I forgot, I didn't go through these steps right here. This is over in the player. So when you're in your user interface, what do you have to do? You have to add an audio source to your player. So you click on the player and you click over here, add component, and you look for audio source and add an audio source. And that's all you have to do. And then once the audio source is there, mine is, notice I don't even have a clip in there. That's because the code is doing the grabbing of the sound file. So really, that's all there is to it. Let's see here. Does it feel like I'm missing something here? Oh, because I created an extra one. Okay. So I'm going to come around, and you guys at home, come on in and ask me if you get stuck, because it's a lot to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record, because I record all of these WebEx meetings, it just automatically records in the background. I'll take this clip, what I just showed the step through, and I'll put this on my website, on my Schoology page, right up here. This video shows how to get sounds into your asset folder. And that's what I'm going to do is I'll just take this video and put it there so that way you guys can rewind all the steps that I've just done. And I'll do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. You guys are free to go work. If you want to spend the first half of the class while I'm getting this video uploaded, you guys are welcome to just spend some time at Soundation. If you want to work on making a background sound, that's fine. You can just play around with it, just have some fun with it. Just get some free time where you're not feeling stressed like you just got to get it done right now. You know, you just have some time to just kind of play around with the Soundation Studio. Yes. Yes, you may, Xavier.
I have a quick question.
All right, yes.
So we have today and Monday to work on this?
Yes.
Okay.
And the goal is to simply get a background sound, some sort of a background music that just loops. And to get a sound when the farmer throws food. So every time that you hit the space bar and the farmer throws food, you want it to make another noise. I made a shooting noise. I actually made that shooting noise by going into, I think it was the percussions, the drums, and I found like a sound that sounded good to me, and I recorded it, and I did the exact same thing that I showed you guys with the background music. So you guys are free to exit the meeting and go to work.